A hare lived in a sunny meadow. He had long legs and a twitching nose. The hare was very fast. He loved to run from one end of the field to the other in the blink of an eye. "I am the quickest creature in all the land," he would often say to anyone who would listen. He told the squirrels in the trees. He told the frogs by the pond. He even told the buzzing bees. He was very proud of his speed and believed no one could ever beat him in a race. He felt very important because of his swift feet. In the same meadow lived a tortoise. The tortoise had a strong, hard shell on his back. His legs were short and sturdy. He moved slowly and carefully through the tall grass. He did not rush. He took his time with everything he did. The tortoise was quiet and kind. He enjoyed watching the clouds float by and smelling the sweet flowers. He knew he was not fast, but he was patient and persistent. He believed that moving forward, even slowly, was a good way to travel through life. He was content with his own pace. One bright morning, the hare saw the tortoise nibbling on a clover. "You are so slow," the hare laughed loudly. "I could run to the big oak tree and back before you even cross this patch of daisies." The tortoise looked up with his wise, gentle eyes. He did not get angry. He simply smiled a slow smile. "Perhaps you are right," said the tortoise in his low voice. "Speed is a great gift, but there are other ways to reach a destination." The hare just wiggled his nose and laughed some more, not understanding the tortoise's words. The animals of the meadow gathered around. They had heard the hare's boasting many times before. A clever fox suggested, "Why not have a race to the top of Sunny Hill?" The hare's ears perked up with excitement. "A race! What a wonderful idea!" he exclaimed. "I will show everyone how fast I am." The tortoise thought for a moment. He looked at the tall hill in the distance. Then he looked at the confident hare. "Very well," the tortoise agreed. "I will race you." The other animals cheered, ready for the big event. The race began the very next day. A badger waved a green leaf to start them off. The hare shot forward like an arrow from a bow. Dust flew up behind his speedy feet. He zoomed past bushes and darted around rocks, leaving the tortoise far, far behind. "Goodbye, Slowpoke," he called back over his shoulder, not even bothering to look. He was so sure of his victory. He imagined himself already at the finish line, wearing a crown of flowers. The cheers of the crowd were already ringing in his very long ears. He was winning easily. The tortoise started his journey with a single steady step. He did not try to run, he just walked. One foot after the other he moved along the dusty path. He watched the butterflies flutter by. He saw a family of ants marching in a line. He was not worried about the hare's great speed. He knew he just had to keep going, step by step, without stopping. The sun was warm on his shell, and the path was long, but his spirit was calm and determined. He would get there when he got there. He was in no hurry at all. As the hare raced up the winding path of Sunny Hill, he grew a little too confident. He was so far ahead that he decided to take a shortcut through a thick part of the woods. "This will make me even faster," he thought to himself with a grin. He bounded off the main path and into the trees. He leaped over a log and dodged low-hanging branches. He was having a wonderful time, feeling the wind in his fur. He did not see the gnarled tree root that stuck out from the ground, hidden beneath a pile of old leaves. Suddenly the hare's foot caught on the hidden root. He tumbled head over heels and landed in a heap. A sharp pain shot through his leg. "Ouch!" he cried out, his voice filled with surprise and pain. He tried to stand up, but his ankle was twisted and hurt very much. He could not put any weight on it. He looked around, but he was all alone in the quiet woods. The finish line seemed very far away now. Tears welled up in his eyes. He was no longer the fastest creature in the land. He was just a hurt hare, all by himself. The tortoise continued his slow and steady walk up the hill. He followed the dusty path, never straying from it. After some time, he heard a small sound coming from the woods nearby. It was a soft cry. The tortoise stopped. He turned his head and listened carefully. He heard the sound again, a little louder this time. It sounded like someone was hurt and sad. The tortoise was not thinking about the race anymore. He was thinking about who might need help. He decided to leave the path and investigate the noise. His kind heart told him it was the right thing to do. He pushed his way through the ferns and bushes. There, under a large oak tree, he found the hare. The hare was sitting on the ground, holding his sore ankle. His ears drooped sadly, and his face was wet with tears. When he saw the tortoise, he looked away in shame. "What are you doing here?" The hare sniffled. "You should be racing. You can win now." The tortoise came closer and looked at the hare's swollen ankle with concern. He did not laugh or boast. He saw a friend who was in pain and needed some help. "Winning a race is not as important as helping a friend," the tortoise said in his calm, gentle voice. "A trophy made of leaves is nice, but a friend is much better." The hare looked at the tortoise with wide, surprised eyes. He had always been so boastful and sometimes unkind to the tortoise, yet here was the tortoise, ready to help him without a second thought. The hare felt a warmth spread through his chest that had nothing to do with the sun. It was the warmth of kindness. He felt very foolish for his earlier pride. The tortoise offered his strong shell. "Lean on me," he said. "We can finish the race together." The hare hesitated for just a moment, then carefully put his arm around the tortoise's shell. He used the tortoise as a crutch to stand on his good leg. It was slow going. The hare had to hop, and the tortoise had to walk even more slowly than before. But they moved together. They were a team. The hare learned that true strength was not just about being fast, but about being kind and working together with others. Slowly, carefully, they made their way out of the woods and back onto the path. They moved as one, the fast hare and the slow tortoise. When they finally reached the top of Sunny Hill, all the other animals were waiting. They saw the two racers coming towards the finish line together. A big rabbit, who was the hare's cousin, and a large turtle, who was the tortoise's aunt, watched with amazement. The hare and the tortoise took one final step and crossed the finish line at the exact same moment. Everyone cheered loudly, not for a winner, but for the beautiful friendship they saw. To celebrate their journey, the hare's cousin and the tortoise's aunt had prepared a special surprise. They led the two friends to a beautiful beach nearby. The sun was beginning to set over the ocean, painting the sky in colors of orange, pink, and gold. A large blanket was spread out on the sand, and on it was a wonderful three-course meal. There were crisp lettuce salads with sweet carrots for the first course. For the main course, there were juicy berries and delicious clover sandwiches. It was a feast fit for true champions of the heart. For dessert, they had sweet slices of watermelon that dripped with juice. As they ate, they talked and laughed. The hare told everyone how the tortoise had saved him. "I was foolish to think that being fast was the only thing that mattered," he said, looking at his new friend with gratitude. "The tortoise taught me that being kind is much more important." The big turtle and the rabbit nodded in agreement, their faces glowing in the soft light of the setting sun. They were very proud of them both for what they had accomplished. The four friends sat together on the beach, watching the last sliver of sun disappear below the waves. The gentle sound of the ocean waves lapping the shore was their music. The sky was filled with twinkling stars. They were full of good food and happiness. The hare and the tortoise were no longer just racers. They were the best of friends. They had learned that the best prize of all was not winning a race, but gaining a friend and sharing a happy moment together. They knew they would remember this day forever.